So I'm the senior manager of recruiting for J.Crew. I predominantly do all the tech functions. So that also includes any product or creative functions that kind of fall underneath tech. I think the best way of describing the reason why we went predominantly to Talenya would be, one, I think we had a pretty aggressive want and need to find candidates of diversity. And I think too, a lot of times we were kind of shooting in the dark. We thought we knew what the market was in certain parts of the country, but I think Talenya enables us to like sit down and really drill down the data and then have a really good cohesive conversation with a hiring manager. And this is what the candidate pool looks like. These are the top candidates within the area. These are the profiles that would fit within that area. Like, how do we then now either one, attract them, or is there something that we need to change on our end in order to get them within our organization? Prior to Talenya, we weren't doing that. I think we kind of thought we knew just based on talking to people, but there wasn't any concrete sort of like data to give somebody. And I think it just makes our argument a little bit stronger when we have to like change a job description or change a compensation band. Unicorn hunters, we were like unicorn hunters, sitting down on LinkedIn, trying to figure out like what the profile build was. And I think, it could be quite tedious having to be on LinkedIn and getting 1,000 or 2,000 profiles in one hit and then clicking through each and every single profile. While Talenya, I think, enables us to like drill down deeper into like the hard skill sets that the actual manager wants. And I think Talenya enables us to find, again, those unicorns that we never probably would have ever found anywhere else, unlike, it's just it makes it a lot easier. I just filled a data science role that was open for over a year. And between Talenya and then just like other like methods, we filled it within less than like a month. Understanding the importance of using like a Talenya to tell your story to a hiring manager, right? Like, who are the candidates that we found? This is the data surrounding like a market, this is why we want to look for these hard skill sets versus these soft skill sets, et cetera, and bringing that into the conversation. The more you like mess with it and play with it, the smarter that it gets, right? And the more intuitive that it gets. LinkedIn doesn't do that. It just is like, you're kind of always doing the same thing in a space like that. And anything with Talenya, like I think we tested out something the other day, just like even the suggestions of profiles that they give us sometimes at the bottom, I would have never thought of finding that person ever in a million years, So I think that like, that's what's super beneficial to us at least. So when you have something like an AI driven, platform like Talenya, it's good because you could fill a role really, really fast. And that's important to the business, especially when you're managing, when our teams are much more smaller coming out of a pandemic, right? Like the reality is most companies are operating with these really big, heavy matrixed environments anymore. Very few of them are. It now enables me to now focus and divert my efforts into closing 3 more roles a lot faster. I'm working on a 3 UX roles right now. We're building out an entire team for that. So there is no other platform out there that will enable you to find the type of diversity per function the way that Talenya does it at all, bar none. The way that like Talenya communicates, I think to the candidate, it just looks like not something that it looks like something I would want to engage with. Like the email is really super welcoming. Like everything feels right. Like the platform works very well. It's super user friendly. You don't have to be super techie in order to get understanding it, which is good. Because there's some that I've tried out that I'm like, to click here, do here, da-da-da. It's just really clunky and it's not. It connects to all of your internal recs. We're big into aggregators. They aggregate onto websites that like LinkedIn does not aggregate to. And I think the big thing is you could fill a role faster and you could be very hyper targeted with the type of candidate that you could find. Which is great. Your time to fill will be cut in half. Again, it's out of a lot of AI platforms that I've used and or tested or sat through like meetings with, it's probably the one that I like the most.